Hello, I want to show you another update about my football management game. Um, Actually, I want to give you an update about a new football management game. Um, I have told you before about the World 26 version I am working on, and still will be working on. However, what I didn't tell you was that I planned to um, also make a season version of the game. Um, I wanted to do this in secret while I updated about the World Cup game and then release it after World Cup 2026 is over. However, the season game will be a lot larger than the World Cup game, and it it starts to make way more sense to first make the full game and then rip some parts out to create the tournament instead of the other way around. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to focus mainly on the Football Manager season. That's the one on the left. And when I'm done with this, or at least when I can uh, simulate full seasons, I will make a shorter version, which is the World Cup 26. Um, Let me see. I had a little. Oh, I thought I made a little peep note where I can see what I had to talk about, but there's not much there. Well, the main reason I want to do the season first is because basically every aspect the World Championship has, the season will have as well. But many things I need for the season, um, for the basics even to run, I don't really need for the World Cup 26. So if I want to create both the World Cup and the season at the same time, I will actually be working at two different projects at the same time, which is pretty confusing as well. Even though with with most of the functions I need in the tournament, I can simply take the functions I create for the season and skin them down to fit the tournament. The thing is, in the season, the player has to manage the club's money. In the tournament, there is no money. You cannot buy a player halfway the World Cup, and you cannot buy a player for a national team anyway. You don't have to build your own stadium, which is gonna be a part of the season game. Um, you don't sell the tickets, even though here you do sell the tickets. That's how you generate money to spend on better players or a better arena. Um, Another thing is that this game, the World Championship, it has 104 games in total, just like the real World Cup is gonna have in 2026. For the first time, there will be 48 teams participating, and the finals will start at the 16th final, if I'm, or was it 23rd? No, 16th. There's 32 teams of the 48 teams will go to the 16th finals, and this means that the player, if they make it to the finals, that they will have 8 games to play, 3 in the opening phase and 5 in the knockout phase in the finals. That's a maximum of 8 games they can play. and that is if they even end up at the best four. If they um, if they are not with the best four, they will have less games to play in the tournament, and then the game is over. With the seasons, you play a season in a league of yeah, I don't know if that's globally, but here a league has 18 teams, and you play each other twice every season. So there's 34 teams in our league, and sorry, there's 18 teams in our league, and they play 34 matches a season. And the way that works is those are not teams, but for example, let's say those are teams. This is a team and this is a team. They play each other in the finals, in the season. Then at some point, uh, um, the at some point they will play in the stadium of this team, and at some point they will play at the stadium of this team. And so they meet each other in both stadiums, and that goes with every other team as well. So there's 34 matches in a season if there are 18 teams in a league. I thought 18 might be a little much for a simulator, so I made leagues of 12 teams. However, again, I don't know how this is globally, but here we have um, a main league, then we have the first league, so the first league is not the highest league, and then we have the second league, and then it really doesn't matter anymore, because that's where the amateur class starts. And that now we get somewhere. I wanted to show you in the new version versus the old version. I don't really have that much to show when running just yet. However, a large difference here is that you do not choose the team you play in anymore. In the World Championship, you could choose I want to play for the Netherlands, or I want to play for Belgium, or I want to play for England, the United States, Australia, and whatever country you want to play for. Um, in the season version, you get a team assigned. The only thing you choose as a player is the shirt you wear and what you will name your team. You can so basically you pick your own team. However, you cannot choose your own colors. The colors of your team will be yellow and blue. The reason for this is there is gonna be, where did I put those? There's gonna be a lot of um, team jerseys, and those team jerseys um, they work best if they do not look alike when you play against them. So there is not a single opponent's team with the colors blue and yellow, even though there's, for example, hey, I see two identical shirts, and that should never be possible. Let's make it this. That one doesn't exist yet, does it? Okay, what was I gonna say? Yeah, there's no combination, and as you can see here, I've got of um, um, every design exists of every color. Every color every color combination I have, and I have a couple. Every color combination I have comes in every design I have, and the only color combination that is not available for opponent teams is blue and yellow. Blue and yellow, why did I choose blue and yellow? Well, first of all, I think it looks cool. But also, two of my favorite games, both have blue and yellow as their homestead, I guess. In Fallout, there's Vault-Tec, and Vault-Tec has blue and yellow. And in World of Warcraft, there's the Alliance, blue and yellow. And yeah, I just like the way it looks, so I chose blue and yellow as the player's color scheme, and the opponent teams can have yeah, basically all the other color schemes. When you select a team, then this is going to be different than the World Championship. Here, when you select a team, you get put in a group where you play that little tournament of 3 games to see who goes to the finals. But here, when you select a jersey, your jersey will, let's see, your jersey will replace one of the jerseys on the upper row. The jerseys on the upper row are the amateur teams that are yeah, this is the league you start in. There's instead of 18 teams, I use 12 teams in my league. Here's 12 amateur teams. Your team will replace one by random. Let's say this one will be replaced by yours. Then it will still exist, but it will be stored somewhere outside the league. Then at the end of the season, let's say this team is gonna be demoted because it ends at the 12th place. Then this one will leave the league and this one will get in its place. If this one will become champion of the league, then this one goes to the next league, and this is the lowest professional class. This one might lose, then this one goes to the amateur league, and this one goes from the amateur league to the lowest professional class. Let's say this team was the champion of the lowest professional class, and this one was the loser of the next professional class, then they will switch places as well. And of course, when the player becomes the champion, they will go to the next league as well. If the player becomes last, they will be demoted to a lower class, except when they become last in the very lowest class. Then I don't know yet what will happen, because there's nothing below this. However, the 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 how can I say this? The level of those teams are actually so low that it shouldn't be possible for the player to not make it out of here. And it should definitely be impossible to demote, probably even if you try, because the players you start your game with are a little more, just a tiny bit, but a little more balanced than than the players of the groups here. Even though all players are randomized, the stats of all players are randomized, still those players are the weakest, those players are a bit stronger, those players are a bit stronger than this, and those players are a tiny bit stronger than this. And of course, those players are the strongest you can find in the game. Um, Another thing that is going to be a thing in the season, but wasn't a thing in the World Championship, is the leveling of your players. So in the can I show this here? I think I can. Yes, as you can see here, this is a keeper, and he is 34 years old, and for this is in the championship, and in the championship that doesn't matter, because in the championship you cannot grow your players. There's just you cannot make a player while they are already um, uh, in in the highest tournament of the world. Um, in the new game or the large game or the full season, there will be a training schedule, and I don't know if any of you has ever played Hat-Trick, but in Hat-Trick, it is so that if you train for defense, for example, then every player that played on a defensive um, position that week will get a bit of training. Well, what I want to do is a little similar like that, but not exactly. I cannot exactly tell you how it will work as well, because it's still a bit of a puzzle. But the idea is that you can grow your players over time to make them stronger in your own team, or to sell them for so you can buy a replacement. The idea is that younger players will level faster than older players, and players of a very low level will level faster than players that are already at high level. However, um, that is still something I am puzzling to figure out. How am I making the engine understand that um, that a divine keeper will not level up as fast as a terrible keeper, or why a 34-year-old keeper doesn't level up as fast as a 17-year-old keeper. Um, yeah, that's something that I have to break my brains about. Um, a lot of math is involved, but a lot of I mean the math with numbers. There's no drugs involved. A lot of math is involved to figure this out, and yeah, luckily math is one of my better qualities, so that will work out in the end. It's just it's a large puzzle. Um, I don't think I have much else to tell. Um, yeah, there's definitely not much I can show in here, because this is just not built yet. It's mostly the plugin that I work with. This all doesn't work just simply because I didn't make it yet. So those buttons you see here are still just the ones I copied over from um, from the championship. So more about that later. And yeah, for now I just want to say thanks for watching. I will keep you guys updated.